Hello, this is Isaiah, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be Music Monday. Music Monday is a thing that I came up with where I challenge myself to make a song in some sort of time limit around a certain theme, because I find that I work best under certain constraints. Music Monday is based off of a thing that I've been doing in my personal life lately, where every single day I create a song in 15 minutes or more. So kind of like I have to spend at least 15 minutes working on it. And I usually just use it as a time limit, where I try to get it done by the 15 minutes. But if I'm really into it, then I'll go ahead and continue past the 15 minutes. For this one, for Music Monday, I challenged myself to do a 30-minute song, where I spend 30 minutes working on it, trying to just polish it up and make it, somewhat alright for being a small, short song. For this song, we're going to be creating it for my new game that I'm making. It's a little month-long project, and it's a little single-screen platformer where you have to try to get to the exit of each level, and then when you complete the level, it takes you to the next level. As you can see, this one's not exactly super complicated, but it's trying to be in the 8-bit style. So I figured that I'd make the songs in an 8-bit-ish style. We're going to need, in total, a menu song, a main game song that's like upbeat and catchy, and then definitely a little victory jingle or something, because that would be exciting. Every time you beat the level, it plays a little, 1-bar clip or whatever. So yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm setting my timer for 30 minutes, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so to start off here, I've got these NES plugins. If I can figure out where I got them, I will link them in the chat. They've got a triangle, a square wave, and a noise channel. The triangle wave is for the bass, the pulse is for the square wave, which is for like the melody, and then the noise I use for percussion. Unfortunately, I lost the footage, didn't properly record, so I have to do a voiceover for this. So I hope you guys don't mind that. So we're going to start off with a triangle wave here. I turned it to monophonic, or I turned monophonic off, because even though it's not true to 8-bit sounds, it is definitely a little bit more of like a beefy bass noise that I think works pretty well. So I'm going for like a little syncopated rhythm where it's like doop doopy doop doopy doop, to see if that would add to the excitement and the movement of the song. So now I'm trying to just make it go somewhere. So it's going to go up and then down and then a little bit up. So now I'm going to add a square wave, and it's got the different duty cycles that change the way that it sounds. So for this one, I started off with the 75% duty cycle. I think I ended up changing it to the 25 or maybe the 87. We're going to create some sort of arpeggio now, to try to just add a little bit of like sprinkly, like like almost kind of like audio glitter to just exist in the background and try to break up the rhythmic section. Yeah, so that's me experimenting with the duty cycle to try to see how I want it to sound. So I know I struggled a little bit here at the beginning trying to find some sort of inspiration for the arpeggio that would play. I think I ended up slowing it down a little bit, and that helps it out, because at 140 beats per minute, when you do it that fast, it goes very quickly, and that can be a little difficult. So I'm just going to skip past this section. I'll just fast forward it until I find a little bit of my stride. I ended up trying some sort of syncopated, like trying to match the rhythm, but it didn't work out very well either. Yeah, so here we are. I started finding some sort of, actually didn't slow it down. I had some sort of quick, almost more rhythmic element. Oh no, I did end up slowing it down. Okay. So I unfortunately had to painfully go through and redo all of this because I messed with it too much. And then I couldn't undo because Fruity Loops is like that, apparently. Oh, no, that's what it was. I didn't end up liking that one, so I redid it. I changed the arpeggio completely from what I thought I was going to do. But I think it worked out a little better. The other one was a little too back and forth. And then I did end up changing the duty cycle a little bit to make it sound a little different. And then I added some delay effects through the thing. And then I experimented with the high-pass filter, and I ended up putting just a light low-pass filter on it. So now I believe it's time to add a melody. I went through, I wanted to have, with these kind of songs, I find that you want to go for as much excitement in the background with all the different effects and stuff, like the arpeggio and the rhythm and the percussion. But then the melodies you want to keep very simple and like stoic and like transitioning. So we're gonna, I think I pretty much pick up a melody pretty quickly. Well, it has things like this where it's got long whole notes like for an entire measure or like half a measure. So now to explain what this is supposed to be, I'm going to try to skip past a little bit of this and move on to once the main melody is complete. Here's what I came up with. Now I've got the melody completed, and it's definitely just grooving along. It sounds incomplete by itself. We're going to add more later. But for now, we're just going to try to create a small 8-bar loop. That's what I find, or I guess this is 4-bar. A small 4-bar loop for this particular song. Whenever I try to build something too ambitious right away, I find that it ends up being half complete by the time the time's over. So as I try to build it so that I've got a vertical slice where you've got like, hey, look, at least I can show you 4 measures, even if it's not a full song. But then now, because I'm going to have more time, then I can stretch it out further and add to it. So for percussion, I like to add 2 different, for this kind of song, I like to have 2 different ones. One for like a hi-hat, and then one for like a snare sound. So the snares are a little longer, the hi-hats are pretty small, and the hi-hats I synced up with the main bass line. And so because they're synced up with the main bass line, it makes it a lot easier to hear the bass line in the background. It like emphasizes it. And then the snare is supposed to be almost kind of offbeat to like keep the momentum moving. So then now we pretty much have a solid loop. This sounds very NES or like old kind of computer systems. Okay, so now that we have so much time left over, I'm going to just start polishing things. So step one is, with this particular triangle, it does it really faithfully to the original, and as a result, that means you've got the main bump for the bass, and then you've got other higher tones that match that one, but they end up making a very like high-pitched in the back of the sound. And for me, I have like more sensitive ears when it comes to that higher pitch stuff. So I have to just cut it out. I find that it sounds better because then you can just hear the bass in the bass. It doesn't have an upper register that's, whining. So now I assigned them all to each their own channel, and I experimented with adding reverb to the snare, but I found that I didn't really like it. So I ended up cutting it out. A little bit of cleanup, renaming things to correct names. So now I've determined that I have enough time and that I'm going to try to expand this further. So step one, I'm going to keep the hi-hats and the arpeggio and the bass, but I'm going to get rid of the snare and the melody. And then on the bar, the 4 bars after that, then the melody and the snare will come in. So this is just simple rearranging of the same thing to try to make it more interesting. So now I made this melody unique, and I started changing up the melody. The thing that I would advise for changing up melodies is try to keep them rhythmically similar, but then different with the audio, I would keep them rhythmically similar, but then keep them a little bit different with the actual melody notes. It makes very cohesive melodies, as I've learned, because I used to be terrible at writing melodies, and now I can, it's passable. It holds interest for at least long enough. So there we go. So now we have 2 parts of a melody. So I'm going to duplicate it and move it on. So now that we have double that. Oh. Controls aren't always my strong suit. I tried experimenting with different things here. I'm just going to fast forward through it. So now I'm going to try to add another variety of the melody to just end it off. Now I should be able to hear the ending version here. Okay, so now I think that I'm going to be adding the bass drum. There's a simple way of adding a bass drum. It sort of works. It's not the best. It's where you add a higher pitched note followed by immediately after a lower pitched note for a little bit longer of a time, and that adds like a doo kind of sound, sort of. I think that there's more complicated ways of making it better, but with this, yeah, I just start with a high with an A, and then I make a slightly lower A. And so now it goes like thump. So I just tried to make something interesting for a bass drum. Yeah, you can just hear it chilling there in the background. So I'm starting to EQ a couple things. For the bass drum, I wanted to make it have a little bit of a bassier sound, obviously, and make the bass not as pronounced during some of the later sections. And then I also made it appear only once the melody slightly changes later, so that it kind of adds emphasis to that section of the song. So now I'm adding, I think I misnamed it once or twice, but now I'm making like a reverse cymbal kind of, where it like gets a little louder as it goes through, to emphasize the joining to the next section. And then I think I also mess around with a crash, but I'm just going to skip through that part because the crash didn't sound any good. I have to figure out how to do that. So instead I just left it as the starting snare, the snare on the beat one. So I'm going to skip to when I actually create this. Okay, so what I decided to do here was click record and then do notes and automation, and then lower the tempo of the song. Hopefully it picks up. Yeah, so I tried futilely to do it at 140 beats per minute. I don't even know why I tried. So then I tried here at 34 beats per minute. And this, I think, worked a good deal better. See, so I just made it get louder. So there we go. So then when I speed that back up to 140 beats per minute, then it makes like a whooshing sound, as we can hear here. So then it whooshes in and then slams down right at the next measure. So now we're going to skip past the crash section. So now I'm adding a reverb to the whole thing to make it sound almost like it's playing through like speakers like of an old TV or something in a slightly bigger room. So I turned down the room size a little bit. I turn up the dampening, I think, so that it's not quite as dampened. Or no, actually, I think I turn it basically off, and then I set the mix to low, so it adds a little bit of an echoiness, but not too strong. So then now we tilt all of the instruments to a slightly different side to make it have some variety. And then I go through and I add wider on all the tracks. Wider is a free plugin from Polyverse. I'll try to provide a link if I can figure out where I got it from. I'm sure I'll just do a Google search though, so anything like that. So I wanted the bass to be a little bit out, a little bit wider in our field of hearing. But then the arpeggio, I know that I don't want to add too much to it, because if you add too much to the arpeggio, it can definitely overpower. It's just supposed to be some interest in the background. So then now I'm adding a little bit of wideness to the melody, I believe. And for the melody, it's okay for it to be a little wider, but I think I end up putting it about the same as the bass. So now we're going to add a little bit of volume to the percussions, because they're a little quiet compared to everything else. Adding, of course, that to everybody except for the swipe, because it's automated. Now we're going to duplicate the melody, the second melody, to put it at the end to give it some more interest there right before we loop back to the beginning. So yeah, so I'm adding another okay, so now I'm deleting the noise channel that was used for the crash, because it was just a waste of time anyway. It didn't amount to anything. Kind of just, I think I need to make it do the inverse of what I made the inverse crash do, just to kind of make it crash and then fade away. But the way I had it, it wasn't fading away, so it just sat there for like a bunch of notes just waiting. So I was attempting to add some reverb to the swipe, the reverse cymbal, but I think I just ended up gently setting it on there some, and then going to skip through all of that because the final settings are all that matter. So now I've got that set. Sorry for the lag again. I'll have to figure out that something's going weird with OBS or something. Or maybe I'm just taxing my computer. My computer was good 5 years ago. So maybe it's still good enough? I don't know. I think I'm adding some wider as well to that reverse symbol to try to make it kind of take up more of your space so that it really interrupts the flow and kind of moves it into the next section. So I think that's pretty close to being done. I'm trying to think of what else I do. I think I do a lot of EQ tweaking and stuff like that. Oh, that's right. We got one more thing. We're gonna add an opposing arpeggio. It's a little slower, and it just kind of adds more interest in the background along with the original arpeggio that we had. It's not like a super fast repeating one, but it does only have 4 bars, something like that. I'm duplicating the bass drum because it was left out of that last section when I copied it over. So I'll just skip forward and show you what I come up with this because I think I go for a little bit trying to figure out what I want. So I tried experimenting with a little bit of higher or lower octave, but I decided it sounded better in the lower octaves kind of bouncing around. So then I make that finish off the song. Now I'm going to show you the final version where I've messed with the EQ and a little bit of reverb and different effects and stuff here or there. They're not really that important. It already sounds NES-like. It already sounds definitely like what we want to go for. And we are only at 20-ish minutes. So I definitely am going to end up running the timer all the way down. But I think I canceled it a little bit earlier. So here's the final version. Okay, so that's it. It went pretty well. It sounded pretty good. I think I'm pretty pleased with it. We'll see if that ends up in the game. If not, no big deal. I'll just put it in my backlog. But if it does, then I'll end up polishing it up and putting it into the game as maybe the main menu, or maybe that one sounds more like it would be more action-y though, where you're like trying to be a hero, trying to get to the exit. So yeah, if you enjoyed that video, I'd definitely appreciate it if you'd subscribe and join me on this journey. I'll have a video out every Monday for music-related content, usually revolving around whatever game I'll be working on. Last Friday, I put out a video for my introduction video. It's more of a New Year's resolution, me committing to saying that I'm going to be building 12 games in 12 months. And so that's why this is really cool, because I can work on songs and gain skill as a musician, but also I can use those songs in the games that I make. So it'll be pretty cool. So yeah, I'll be continuing that every Monday. I will also be making potentially some sort of game dev related content Friday. Could be a game dev log. It could be just here's my thoughts on a certain topic. It could be, maybe just a time lapse or me filming whatever I'm doing. I've got an Instagram account. If you want to follow me there, I'm going to be posting a screenshot of whatever is most interesting to me about my game every Saturday. So whatever game I'm working on, I'll be putting up a screenshot every Saturday. And then Sundays, I'll be releasing a game devlog no matter what. So you might just get 2 in 1 week or something like that. So yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.